This week's TV news, we have Warner Brothers Discovery is really trying to make their streaming platform profitable, like really. The question of Oscar Isaac's return as Moon Knight gets answered. Kind of. And we have the medical sitcom Scrubs is looking at a revival, probably. Let's get into the TV news, shall we? Hello, nerds! This is the weekly TV news show. Not like the evening news with Tom Brokaw. No, nothing like that. This has more to do with TV shows, nerdy-oriented TV shows, as well as episodic content that you will find on streaming platforms. If this is your kind of thing, then you can check out the full episode that I like to call The Week in Nerddom that covers all spectrum of pop culture and just generally nerdy things over on the main channel. You can find it linked down in the description or at the end of this video. All of that being said, let's talk about TV shows and nerdy stuff like that. Let us now get into the follow-ups and corrections for the TV section. Follow-ups and corrections this week. We have a follow-up on the Ghostbusters situation. We now have official word that they are 100% moving forward with the animated series over on Netflix. The newest part of that, because we've talked about that previously, that they were probably going to be moving forward. Now we have 100% confirmation that they are moving forward, and we know it's going to be 3D animated, not cell animated. So different than we've gotten previously from animated Ghostbusters stuff, but that's all we've got right now. Let's move right along. Our next one comes from Warner Brothers Discovery. Oh boy, this is an ongoing story that just does not bode well for a company that is directly correlated to one of my favorite gaming companies, and that is Warner Brothers Discovery. They own NetherRealm, who makes Mortal Kombat. So Warner Brothers Discovery has officially closed down the Cartoon Network website. So cartoonnetwork.net no longer exists. If you go there, it is going to point you towards subscribing to Max. So previously, they have completely axed the Boomerang channel, which Boomerang was the older IPs than what Cartoon Network covered. So cartoonnetwork.net, if you didn't frequent that site previously, hosted like clips of shows, hosted full episodes of shows that you could watch on the Cartoon Network. And now you can't. Now you have to subscribe to Max. So Warner Brothers is doing a lot of things that they're trying to save money. It sounds like they're doing everything they can think of to not fire more people, because they've already gone through a round of firings and it has also not been super pretty for them. The other thing that they're doing, Warner Brothers Discovery, is they have announced that they're open to the idea of licensing out characters to other companies. So like other animation houses, other video game studios theoretically could license out Warner Brothers owned characters, which is a very strange concept in my brain. But yeah, so we'll see how this works. Hopefully it does at least a little bit of what they're looking for so that they don't go completely under, because there's a lot of good stuff over there, but I think there needs to be a better way to do streaming. And I think that better way, honestly, is ads, guys. Like, that's the bigger conversation here, is ad supported. The reason television worked before we went streaming everything, the reason why you could get channels over the bunny ears, or however you got your free TV, the digital HD converter things or whatever, the reason you can get stuff for free or even for fairly cheap. I mean, basic cable wasn't the cheapest, but by comparison, if you had a basic cable subscription or you were subscribed to all of the major streamers, you would be saving money with the basic cable. And that's weird to say out loud as well. But the reason why you could get any of that for free is because TV had ads. Ad spots is what paid for everything. They paid the television stations to play these commercials, so then the television stations could invest in things that would get people to watch the TV long enough to say, okay, I'll sit through a 2-minute commercial. And then that was the kind of symbiotic relationship. With streaming, you can only theoretically make so much money, because you're target audience is only so large. So once you have their monthly check, there's not much you can do aside from raising the price of that monthly access fee. So the only way to really keep that loop going is to have ads. And the really crap part about this right now is they think that they need to do both. They need to charge you, albeit a little bit less than the other subscription fees, but still they're charging you a subscription fee to then still see ads. Amazon Prime is doing this. Netflix is doing this. HBO Max has not done this yet, but HBO Max and Disney Plus have both toyed with the idea very publicly. So I think that is the direction it's going. Hopefully there will be, and honestly, if you watch any of the free streamers, Tubi, Freevee, Pluto, I think Zumo is one of them. There's a couple others I'm sure I'm missing, but if you watch any of those, the thing that you'll see a lot on those is commercials, like you're watching on TV back 20, 30 years ago, because that is the way this works. You need companies to advertise on the entertainment releases in order for you to get the entertainment for free. Otherwise, you have to pay a lot of money because this is not a cheap business. So yeah, it's an ongoing conversation. I would really love to hear anybody else's thoughts as far as if there's an angle on this that isn't being caught by a lot of people. Then absolutely, let's have that conversation down in the comments or over on the socials, whichever you got to do. From there, let's talk about one more follow-up, and that is Moon Knight. Oscar Isaac previously has been in question whether or not he's going to be returning to the role. Well, now we know definitively that he is going to be returning to the role, kind of. So coming up, we have another season of What If. Moon Knight is going to be in this season of What If. What If is an animated show, so he is going to be returning to voice the character of Moon Knight. He is not returning to necessarily play the character of Moon Knight yet, though again, that has not been 100% cut out of the equation. It's just, we don't know. So we're going to move on. All right, that brings us into trailers. We did have D23 this weekend, so we got a couple of trailers to talk about in the TV side of things. We have quite a bit of movie trailers to talk about, but we have Skeleton Crew was the big one from D23 as far as TV series goes. The D23 announcement, the show will start streaming December 3rd on Disney Plus. This looks like very cautiously optimistic about the fact that this looks like they're returning to how Star Wars theoretically started. So Star Wars originally was supposed to be a story for kids. Lucas wanted to do a family-friendly science fiction opera, effectively. Sci-fi, what is it? Space opera. That's the word I was looking for. So it looks like that's where they're headed back to, something more family friendly. Hopefully it makes sense in universe. It is going to be removed from the Skywalker saga. At least that's kind of how they're billing it. So that also bodes well. Beyond that though, like, we'll see. This does look like it's going to be better though. Maybe. The other trailer that dropped this week is not D23 related. It is, and honestly, just a teaser, but season 2 of Squid Game dropped a teaser. That series will be on Netflix come December 26th. So the day after Christmas, interestingly enough. Those are the only trailers really worth talking about as far as TV goes. Let's move over to regular ass news for TV this week. We have a new series over on Shudder that is going to be breaking down the genre of horror because it's on Shudder. That's called Horror's Greatest. It's going to be, each episode is going to be a different aspect of horror, and it's going to be the greatest elements or the greatest movies that are an example of said aspect. Just sounds really interesting. It is set to premiere next week, August 27th. If you are a Shudder subscriber, which you probably should be if you watch this channel, because we talk fair bit. I guess a lot is probably over exaggerating, but a fair bit about horror stuff. And honestly, Joe Bob is enough of a reason to subscribe to that one anyway. That's what we got there. Let's move. Our next one is Scrubs. We have a revival announcement of sorts. The series creator. We have series creator Bill Lawrence saying publicly that he is determined to get something into the next stage of development sometime within the next 6 months for a Scrubs revival. It sounds like they're going to do some sort of like limited series, maybe a la the Gilmore Girls, where it was just a couple of episodes. Gilmore Girls, I think, was 4 episodes. There's 1 episode per season of the year in the life of, effectively. So it sounds like that's going to be something in the vein that he's looking to do. We'll see, though, if it actually comes to fruition. We will definitely be keeping tabs on this one because Scrubs is very well loved at this point. Like this, that's a great series. If you've never watched it, then might I suggest? Speaking of suggestions, let's talk about our TV streaming suggestion this week. It is an Amazon Prime show. It goes by the name of The Expanse. It started on the Sci-Fi Channel, but then Amazon Prime saved it, and it has now come to its end, and it's absolutely worth your time. It is based on the book series by James S.A. Corey. It is, I don't know, it's kind of a spiritual successor, at least in my head canon, spiritual successor to Serenity. I'm super, I'm not as much in love with The Expanse as I am Serenity, but still, or Firefly, I guess is the word I was looking for, not Serenity. Serenity is the name of the ship, the name of the movie. Firefly is the name of the show. Oh, words. Anyway, so, The Expanse scratches that itch. It's not a perfect substitute, but it works, and it's really good unto itself as well. So that is your suggestion this week, The Expanse, over on Amazon Prime. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means, just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.